Yeah. I'm making another NX video, and I actually have held off. I saw this stuff 5 to 6 days ago. You may have seen this NX leak specs thing go out across multiple sites. I'm looking at Game Bolt, there's Forbes. Hell, just type in Nintendo NX and you'll get a lot of stuff into Google. Let me break this down. Below, you're going to see the original post is on a Reddit user, and this Reddit user said they are a AAA developer who has a dev kit. The person could not verify who they were. They could not say where they're from. And I get that publicly, but Reddit has the ability, just like NeoGAF, for people to come in and say, here's my stuff, I'm a real person. And then they could just, I guess they were too scared. But this is another leak rumor. And I actually have been waiting for days to see this just blow up and be nothing. But it's constantly being re-reported everywhere. I've probably lost count, over 10 or so websites. Just left and right, people are talking about it. And y'all say here, somewhere up here on this screen, you're going to see the salt shaker in big time. I always post. Take this with a huge grain of salt. The person cannot be verified. They will not prove who they are for fear of their job, so to speak. I don't call them a liar. I don't know if this man or woman, whoever they are, is real. But let's take a look at it. There's a lot of weird stuff, and I say weird in a good way. And, you know, let's take a look at this. Let's just go down the list. This Gaming Bolt really did break it down to where I don't have to dig through that few hundred posts, discussion. The person said the Nintendo NX uses ARM architecture. We've talked about this before. We've heard rumors that could happen. Okay. Is a bit more powerful than the PlayStation 4. Any game that runs on the PS4 will run the NX with ease, aka easily with 1080p, possibly even 60 frames per second. Any hiccups or 900p on a PS4 will run 1080p all day long. That said, porting is a little harder than a simple copy and paste because NX is ARM, x86, yada yada yada. And it's not that bad. People port back and forth between ARM and x86, but it's doable. Apparently, the NX uses 8 gigs of GDDR5 RAM. That said, the developer did not say that a substantial amount could end up being reserved for OS, just like the other ones. So again, 8 gigs is something that Sony's got. Developer kit came with 1 terabyte on board. Point out it could be just for developer version. However, that the final consumer version may not necessarily ship with that much storage. Of course, I mean, you can't say, I think somebody in one of the posts forums said either Wii U or one of them had 300 gigs. It's just, developer dev kits have debugging tools, a lot of stuff installed on it, and be able to dump a lot of games or tests, over to the side. And going down another thing, what does it look like? It looks like it's more of a traditional console. More powerful than the PlayStation 4. Mostly normal control without much of ways of gimmicks, but unique functionality. The dev kit's using disk, so this doesn't mean that the main one would use disk, but I'm starting to lean more and more toward disk is going to be there just because. The person, though, there are a few things that are red flags. He or she said it's set for more of its 2017 release. Maybe. We all could be wrong, but though the developer here did acknowledge that it could release early December 2016. That's where I really think it's going to come out. They said the NX controller. Now let's okay. Let's go to some more of this stuff. I'm just trying to break all this down. They could point out the other controllers are obviously fake. Duh. Okay. They did credit for getting some stuff right. For instance, the controller itself is a surface, is a screen. Shoulder buttons are scroll wheels and are click. So there's first ones are clickable scroll wheels, and there's some back ones, ZL and ZR. The most controversial element, the oval shape, the touch only controls are all fake. Okay, the NX controller seems to be rectangular in shape, has a physical D-pad, physical shoulder buttons and triggers, physical face buttons, and 2 full-blown analog sticks as opposed to nubs or sliders. The controller has no physical start or select buttons, These show up as touch buttons contextually on the controller. It has a physical home button. The controller surface is a screen, and the screen circles around the buttons, but not the analog sticks. Or bases are opaque. That said, remote play is no longer the selling point, but it's definitely a possibility. It's not about playing it on this by this person. The really exciting applications come in form of dragging icons under the physical buttons on the controller, remapping. That sounds cool if it's real. Controller has a camera of its own, but possibly no speakers. It does have a headphone jack. Gyroscope and accelerator. Touchscreen is capacitive, not resistive kind, is used on the Wii U, 3DS, and things like that. Controller is an independent unit with specs on par with a mid-tier smartphone, micro SD cards, and 1080p screen. Controller's battery life is unknown because it's supposed to be hardwired. And the controller seems to be, according to the developer, there's no handheld. There seems to be a gangland myth. Or think of it as the big NX unicorn. The NX controller does not seem to be getting many independent games of its own, though it can get second screen apps, small mini games. Okay. 6 minutes into this, I'm going to look at this. This is a huge rumor. If this was what it really is, more powerful than the PS4, traditional console, it came with disc. I know me and the Goof said cartridges would be great, but if they put out Blu-rays or high-end disc, that's fine. The controller is supposed to be the size of a 3DS, 2 analogs, D-pad, 4 buttons, 4 back here, and even though it's a screen underneath the buttons, not the analog, it'd be weird. But a 3DS feels good in the hand. That could work. That could give third-party developers all the buttons they need. Gimmicky, you could use the screen or not. And if this thing uses ARM, it's not a horrible point. I worry if it actually does use ARM, will it be such a detractor from taking PS4, Xbox One games that don't use things like Unreal Engine 4. But I'm not sure if that would be a horrible thing. AMD has already released ARM chips that can run data center level servers. It's a fact. And if they do a custom GPU with what's called a SoC, system on a chip, which that's what they do with consoles, it won't be like a Tegra or NVIDIA, the ARM chips. It will be powerful. Maybe they do it to save some power, save cost of x86, and it just does this as well. The big things that I kind of don't understand is, I don't understand the 2017 release. I don't know about that. I am going to, until Nintendo proves us wrong, think 2016. Why not? What else do I kind of throw up here? ARM is good. I'm just really flip-floppy. I don't know if the whole thing, when they talked about the whole thing, Geno leak, the whole thing was a handheld, you pop the HDMI adapter in. ARM made sense, but as a console that sits in your living room, okay. I hope it just doesn't make it really, really hard to develop for and make people go, well, I don't know if I want to develop for that. Those are things that really stand out. I don't know about this. I have went back and forth in my head for a week. Well, probably some part of Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, it's about 6 days. I didn't want to report on this because I was tired of reporting on certain crazy rumors with those hand controllers, but I guess I got a little burned by it. Take this with a huge grain of salt. Person cannot be verified as where they work. It cannot be verified as a developer. It cannot be verified if they're lying or not. And they've disappeared. But sometimes these type of rumors, especially when they did this with iPhones, they kind of come in, they drop the information, they answered questions for a day or two, and then they left. And it could work. If this is the way it is, if they just come out with a console that sits in there in the living room, more powerful than PS4 just a little bit, disc, good storage, a rectangular controller, all the controls you need with a neat, slightly gimmicky screen, but doesn't just ruin the controller, I'll be happy as everything, 100%. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Appreciate everybody watching. Subscribe to me here on YouTube. Follow me on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, skirmishfrogs.com for everything retro, and crosshairtv.com. Picky Old Gamer. Out.